Hey everybody, shalom and welcome back to ReligionWinked TV where my spiritual ears stay. Guys, this is really making my ear ring. There's absolutely a war going on with the police and black men. And if you guys want to know what I'm talking about, please give me 30 seconds and we'll start the show. It's crazy. All right, welcome back to this edition of a 20-year-old black man was shot down in Florida, and I'm not talking about the one that just happened where the young man, the 18-year-old, was shot 35 times by the police. I did do a video on that, you all, and I just want to let you know there's a lot of controversy surrounding it, but the family is on top of everything. They've reached out to a content creator for help. They're being led in the right direction. They cleared up a lot of the controversy that was going on over the Gofundmes and things of that nature. The young man will eventually be able to rest in peace by the grace of God, okay? And also, his family is very nice, very beautiful family. And guys, I do have the link to the GoFundMe to the young man that got murdered. Allegedly, there was a self-inflicted gunshot wound down in Jacksonville, Florida. The GoFundMe I will put in the description of this box or down below in this video. And that way you guys can go over and support the family of that young man if you want to, you know. I know it's the holidays, guys, and I'm only asking you to do this if it's in your heart to do it, okay? But they need the support, all right? And I just happened to have smartphone on my phone, and there was a ding that went off, and I clicked on it. And I actually saw an article. Bear with me 1 second. I actually saw an article of guys, go check out that last video I did about StreamYards, Jaguar Wright, and Tasha K. Okay, just kind of plug something in there real quick. But I seen an article come up about a 20-year-old man that was shot down by the police. But before we get into that, guys, did you know that George Floyd's GoFundMe raised $13 million? I just want to go ahead and see if I can. Do I want to share my screen? Let me see if I can share my screen. Actually, hold on. Before I do that, let me pull up my guys, I talk myself through this. Bear with me. I'm getting used to this. I just get on here and talk about the Bible and do my thing, but I got this. I just like to talk myself through things so I remember it. Here we go. Let me do the fair use clause here. Okay, boom. Now, I'm going to share my screen with you guys, okay? Because I'm acting like you guys are right here talking to me as I do this. Usually I'm live doing this, but I'm doing something different here, okay? So I want to show you that, boom. First of all, let me show you this right here. Boom. Let's go to this one. There was 2 George Floyd's GoFundMe. This particular one right here, it says that it was started, May 27, 2020. It raised $376,795. There's pictures of George and his family here. I don't want to put it on screen, but again, I'll snatch this GoFundMe. I don't know. I'm not gonna do that. Just support the family of the young man down in Jacksonville, Florida, that recently happened around Thanksgiving. Okay, so this has $376,795. I kid you not. Google George Floyd, and this GoFundMe will come up. George Floyd GoFundMe, and this will come up. And the reason why I got here today, because I was following the case with the young man down in Jacksonville, Florida, and basically the family had a GoFundMe, and they were able to raise $7,000+ for burial services. But then there was something with the government agency crime victims unit who was going to help the family out. But once the coroner came back and said that it was allegedly a self-inflicted gun wound that took the young man's life, no one can still explain why the police shot him 35 times after that. But they're saying it was self-inflicted, so the agency withdraw their Indian givers, right? Bunch of damn liars. They withdrew their plea to help the family. So there is another GoFundMe. The GoFundMe is legitimate. And you guys, I'm going to link it down below. But I was sitting here thinking about it wow. And I wasn't really making a comparison, but George Floyd, I remember they said he raised about $13 million. And I'm going to show you that in a minute. And I saw how police shoot a young 18-year-old boy for, they was trying to get him out the car. I'm not going into details or whatever. 35 times. And like I said, if there was a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the young man, that shot necessarily didn't take his life out. But shooting that young man 35 times lifted his soul right on up to the Lord, you all. And that's ridiculous. Over here on this channel, I talk about police brutality. I didn't just start talking about it with the young man from Jacksonville, Florida. I've been talking about this all my damn life. And it's sickening. This is one thing that get under my skin, is the war between the men in blue and the men in black, okay? So with that being said, I was sitting here today, I said, this is some unfair shit. Now, mind you, I didn't support either GoFundMe, honestly. George Floyd was committing a crime at the time of his murder. Doesn't necessarily mean he needs to die, but I am not in the business of rewarding bad behavior. And not to say that the young 18-year-old in Jacksonville, Florida did anything wrong, but got pulled over by the police. He was fearful. He suffered from what most of us suffer from when we get arrested from the police, post-traumatic stress syndrome, because we don't know what the hell is going to happen in the presence of the police. We don't know if we're going to make it out alive. And they knew that young man was scared, and 4 to 6 officers still with their guns ablaze, and I still say murdered that young man, okay? And there was controversy with a YouTuber, a content creator, surrounding that death. And I was like, I did my video, shouted out the family, supported what happened, because right is right, wrong is wrong, y'all. And when it came controversy with cash apps and people scamming, it just turned my spirit cold that somebody would do this. And I even did a video to the content creator saying, hey, there's still time to repent if that's what you did. So, no, I supported the family in other ways by telling you to go support for me if you would like to. It's not required, but it's definitely appreciated at this point in time, because nobody should have this much controversy surrounded by a family member when it comes to death. And which brings me to George Floyd. How did a man who, in the midst of committing a crime, excuse me, how does a man in the midst of committing a crime warrant so much attention? Yes, it was murder on camera. Hear me out, guys, because I'm not insensitive to what's going on. But it garnished national attention. But yet the young man, 18 years old in Jacksonville, Florida, garnishing YouTube attention, which is worldwide social media. But it hasn't really, at this point now, it's gotten to, I think it was Reverend Jesse Jackson who reached out to the family and things of that nature, and another bishop down in the South. So it's garnishing national attention. But when I thought about the GoFundMes and the struggle that was happening with the young man in Florida, it brought me to George Floyd and how he $13 million on his GoFundMe. It's like, things just don't add up right. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys why I brought you here. I'm going to go ahead and show you the GoFundMes in a moment. But the reason why we're here is because there was another shooting down in Florida, absolutely. And this young man is 20 years old, and his name is Dominique Harris. And this article, it doesn't really tell me, but it's by New York Post. Maybe there's something at the end. Hold on. All right, so let me get on this screen to show you a picture of this young man. Can you guys see him? All right, so Florida man who shot a cop killed after being hit 38 times, y'all. I know you guys want me to sit here and say, damn, the police shot a man 38 times. But it's saying, and we can't always believe the police. That's why the family wants another investigation. And that's why that GoFundMe is important for the young man down in Jacksonville, Florida, because they want to rule out any possibilities of lies and hold the police accountable for shooting a man 35 times. This young man did nothing. We don't know if that self-inflicted gunshot would have taken his life, but we do know 35 shots will end a man's life, right? Here, again, this man shot a cop. I don't know all the details about it. There is some video footage out there. You guys can check out Dominique Harris. Let me show you his name here. You should be able to see it on the first line there. And he shot up police. Now, right is right, wrong is wrong. What can we do to kind of get our men thinking protection when they're out in the street? I heard the family of the young man in Jacksonville say they raise their boys up, make it home safe, act a certain way. You know, you get out there, you know what the police do for our black men. So they were always prepping their especially the deceased young man and his friends and cousins, how to behave and how to act. How do we go through this life walking on eggshells and being afraid of the police when they're supposed to serve and protect us, right? So I'm going to go ahead and read you this story. You guys put it down below. Let me know what you're thinking about this. I definitely be bringing up some, good conversation here. Like I said, I don't stay on the details of the case. I try to draw questions and scenarios out of situations so we can talk about it across the board. Because this family in Jacksonville is not the only one it happened to. This young man right here is not the only person it happened to. And for the love of God, I'm sure in George Floyd's case where someone was committing a crime, the police probably ended their life as well. The police have a big problem with resistance to killing black men. It's like a free-for-all. It's like anything goes, no hold bar. This is what we're in police academy learning how to do, is take out a black man. And I don't like it personally. So, Florida man who shot cop killed after being hit 38 times. Let me read that again. Florida man who shot cop killed after being hit 38 times. All right, 1 second, guys. All right, good. We're about 15 minutes, almost 16 minutes in. I'll wrap it up. So this article is written by George Fitzgibbons, all right? And we are using the Fair Use Act here, and we'll be using the Fair Use Act when I go into Gofundme. So, a Florida man who shot and wounded a St. Petersburg cop during a shootout Wednesday was killed after being hit 38 times. Well, I just don't do guns, period, people. I don't know the circumstances, situations. We're going to get into some of the details. I did not take the time out to read this. I like to know the information as I'm doing it with you, especially live. I have the article, but I'm reading it for the first time. So you're going to see some reaction. You're going to see, some emotion, and we'll get to the bottom of it, or at least try to see what caused the young man here, Dominique Harris, 20 years old, to shoot a police officer and them to shoot him 38 times. That's just overkill to me. Those people like that on the force need to be sat down. I always say, if a police have to shoot to save their own life, there's the leg, there's the foot, there's even the butt. You know what I'm saying? The head, the heart, the chest. 35 times to subdue a person is just ridiculous to me. And again, cops have rage and envy against people such as black men who shoot their own, whether it's in another state, whether it's in the same state. When they hear about people shooting police officers, you better believe when a situation come around for something that happened in another state, they'll take revenge on this young man for all the other shootings of a police officer they may have heard around the country, right? They hold grudges. They don't serve and protect like they're supposed to. Dominique Harris, Pinellas County Sheriff's Office, VAAP, a Florida man who shot and wounded a St. Petersburg cop during a shootout Wednesday was killed after being hit 38 times. Dominique Harris, 20, such a young baby, who was a person of interest, get this, guys, in a 2019 murder, got into a dramatic, caught-on-video gunfight with police outside a convenience store, with cops firing 50 shots in the exchange, the Tampa Bay Times reported. Now, that's that big middle section there. You guys can see it. So it goes on to say, Pinellas County Sheriff Bob Gutierrez said Harris fired first, shooting at cops at least 4 times with a semi-automatic handgun after he tried to ram a roadblock, hitting one officer. So they must have been pursuing him. He must have been fleeing. They must have recognized him from this alleged murder in 2019. They had a roadblock. They're saying he hit someone in the roadblock, shot 4 times, and then they fired 50 rounds. 4 rounds to 50, y'all. It still doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense at all to me. And I thought police wanted the alleged criminal alive so they can have their due diligence in court, being judged by a jury of their peers, which is never the case, because if this black man here, God rest his soul and shout out to his family, if he would have made it to court, he would have been the jury would have been old white men. That's been the nature of our court system. This man is 20. He's black. There probably would have not been a 20-year-old black person on that jury. And this is being a jury of your peers. This is what it means to have a jury of your peers. But throughout history, we see when our people, right, wrong, or indifferent, make it to court, they don't always get a jury of their peers. So it goes on to say, police said he was currently being sought on a child abuse charge, the Times says. So I don't even think the 2019 murder had anything to do with it at this point. There's another charge that they say they were taking him up on. This charge doesn't say what kind of child abuse charge it is, but there's a charge here that apparently they were seeking after this man for. And I have to say it here, sometimes when people are in trouble, not black, white, anybody, they run and they'd rather die than go to prison for the charges they're being charged of. Because I know a lot of people who went to prison, and there's some that went for messing with little children, and these people get treated real bad in prison, okay? Butt broken and all of that in prison, okay? So some people rather die than face prison, all right? I'm just giving commentary here, my personal opinions and views, and I try to be fair about it, guys, okay? So it says, and like I said, cops overkilling anybody is not acceptable at all. And people shooting at police, it could be just as wrong. And I don't support the police the way they're an entity that took advantage of our ancestors from way back when. But that's whole nother video, okay? So it goes on to say the cops then returned fire, hitting Harris with a barrage of bullets, fatally wounding him. Absolutely. Again, I believe police are, some of them, hostile underneath the blue uniform, impulsive. They're not rational when it comes to having a gun. Already their skin, for most of them, and for some black people, because there's black supremacy, where police officers feel like they're entitled. And with a gun and a badge, it's called an abusive entitlement to me. They just abuse their power. So the wounded officer, who was not identified, was shot twice in the torso and was in stable condition after undergoing surgery, authorities said. Now, does this mean tit for tat, or does this mean he's alive, the black man is dead? I mean, how do you feel about that? I know the Bible says an eye for an eye, but it's the police job, even in dangerous situations, they're not bringing about the best outcome, okay? So there's a little bit more. It says, Florida police officer shot in downtown Petersburg. St. Petersburg police officer was shot, and another one? Oh, hold on. St. Petersburg Police Chief Anthony Holloway urged residents to remain calm and to wait for the facts to come out. Departments nationwide this year have come under fire and faced massive protests over police brutality allegations following the May 25th police custody death of George Floyd in Minneapolis. And for me to bring up the GoFundMes about George Floyd, I did not know his name was going to come up in this article. Can you guys see it? Wait, where am I? Oh, right there. Can you guys see that? The use of deadly force task force was formed so we can show that we're being very transparent and we're accountable to the citizens of St. Petersburg, Holloway said. The sheriff and the task force and the state attorneys will investigate the criminal matter involved in the shooting with Mr. Harris yesterday. And that's it, guys, right there. So this is the young man again, guys. Can you see? That's the young man. All right. And he's 20 years old. His name is Dominique Harris, down in St. Petersburg, Florida. This young man allegedly was tied to a 2019 murder, wanted on charges of child abuse, not knowing what kind of abuse that is. Not here to judge, only here to give you the facts of the case, and you can decide, that on your own or do more research. Follow the case. If I hear an update, I'll give you an update on it. But there was a roadblock. He ran into the roadblock. He shot 4 times at an officer, hit one officer in the torso twice, and upon doing so, they shot at him 50 times, and he is no longer with us. The article says 38 times, and then it says 50 times. He may have been hit 38 times after they shot 50 rounds. And it also goes on to say that, because of the George Floyd situation, departments nationwide this year have come under fire, absolutely across the world. Because even when George Floyd happened, there was somebody over in France, I believe Spain. They were just taking people of color and putting the knee to the neck. So this was worldwide with George Floyd, okay? And the use of the Deadly Force Task Force. Now, they have something here called the Deadly Force Task Force. Whatever that is, guys, what I like to say is what people do in power is make rules up and make stuff up as they go along to protect their own ass, to cover whatever. They make it seem like they're protecting the public, but it's only to cover their butt and to use deadly force, okay? It's just another way of saying, hey, we have something called the Deadly Task Force, and we're going to, go out here and kill somebody, but this organization is going to back us up because that's our name. I don't know. Anyway, you got people working on this case, and now, if I can, let me go and see if I can share some of these GoFundMes. Now, I'm only gonna do the story with TMZ. All right, bear with me. $13 million. TMZ had did an article. Oh, come on. TMZ did an article. Am I sharing? Oh, I said I couldn't get the hold on, guys. Let me try this again. I should be able to share. Bear with me, guys. All right, here we go. We're sharing. Cool. All right, so TMZ, Fair Use Act here. All right, according to TMZ, there was some GoFundMes going down. They were researching the top, paying out the top GoFundMes that raised the most money. And by far, George Floyd was one of those GoFundMes that I remember hitting over $13 million. And I don't want to show his face. I'm going to cut some of this out, all right? I'm going to edit. All right, y'all, I'm back. Sorry about that. StreamYard just kicked me out, so I'm not going to share it. I'm going to go over here and read it to you if I can. It says, George Floyd's killing is impacting the world in a way we've never seen it before. It's almost inspiring so many people around the world to donate, right? Launched just a little week ago, this is when he passed away back in May, the official George Floyd Memorial Fund has already received the highest number of individual donations for a GoFundMe page. A spokesperson for TMZ says, with nearly 500K donations and counting, the fundraisers amassed nearly $13 million. We're told to the campaign has gone global, getting donations from 125 countries, okay? George's brother, Philanese, says the money will cover funeral burial services, burial expenses, provide counseling, paying for lodging and travel for all court proceedings, assisting family going forward as they seek justice for George, and a portion of the funds will also go to George's estate to take care of his kids, his children, and provide for their education. How much money is left over for that, okay? So then it also goes on to say that the second one of the GoFundMe, interestingly, it was launched December 2018 to raise money to build the wall at America's southern border. That has 300K donations, but it's raised more than $25 million. Okay. And third place on this list is the coronavirus campaign, raising funds for Italy and the pandemic that ravaged over there. They got more than 206,000 individual donations in less than 3 months. So guys, there you have it on the GoFundMe. Let me know what you guys think about this young man here, Dominique Harris. Let me know what you think about police brutality. If you can, let me know if you will go over to the GoFundMe link that I'm going to link to this video down below so you guys can go over, or actually I can send you to Briannas Simone Pettyville on YouTube. She's a content creator working with the family. It was a blessing how they all met, whatever. But I can send you over to her channel. I'll link her. I think she did a something on her community wall with it. Somehow I'll get you guys the link if you guys want to support on behalf of Devon Gregory down in Jacksonville, Florida. Let me know what you think about the news referring to George Floyd in this article here, and how it set a real worldwide precedent on police brutality like it wasn't going on before George Floyd. I remember when the police used to water hose our ancestors, sick, wild, sick, mangy, rabid dogs, our ancestors. The police, they started the paddy wagon because they said they wanted to round up unruly black folk who was trying to get off the plantation. So this police brutality and the war thereof against black people in the 12 indigenous tribes of Israel has been going on for as long as they incorporated the police to do so, okay? And yes, people can come around and pretend to be friendly. That uniform, we're supposed to trust them, but with everything going on, people don't know who to call anymore. People don't know who to trust anymore. People don't know if they should even open up their door for a police anymore. I watch ID Discovery, y'all, and people be dressing up, and it could be real police as well, but people have that uniform on, pull people over, raping women, throwing drugs in the car and things of that nature, setting people up on the road. Did anybody watch Clairview Terrace with Samuel L. Jackson? I watched an ID Discovery called Fear Thy Neighbor, and baby, it was a police officer abusing his power, a black man at this. He was going down the neighborhood running everybody's license plate just to see if he can get something on the people. Now, if that's not abusing your power as a police officer, let alone shooting somebody 50 damn times, and another incident where somebody got shot 35 times, I don't know what the hell is, y'all. I say sit them all down. Take I said in one of my videos, and I think I said it when I did coverage on a young man in Florida. Prior to that, it was Kawan Bobby Charles, but he wasn't killed by the police officer. Police, they didn't want to do an Amber Alert. And maybe if they did an Amber Alert, they would have found him a lot sooner and may have found him alive. This is the entity we're dealing with. They just don't care, but they want all the respect in the world. So, yeah, I've been doing coverage on police brutality. You guys can go back and check some of my playlists. And with that being said, we're going to go ahead and end it here. I appreciate you guys. Let me go ahead. I don't even think Anyway, I'm not going to use no intro, outro. My intro and outro really is, thank you so much for watching ReligionWinked TV, and my spiritual ears stay. And with that being said, guys, I apologize for chewing gum. I was trying to hide it in my big old cheeks here. But, so let's get a conversation going about what we can do. What I have mentioned in one of those videos doing coverage is that it might have been with Jacob. Remember Jacob out in Portland somewhere? The one who got shot in his back 7 times. One of those videos I said, they need to have a sensor. You know how you do a breathalyzer? They need to have a sensor on police that can sense when they're getting outraged and getting hostile and getting fearful and getting nervous when they have their hand on the trigger, and somehow be able to shut the gun down somehow, zap them, and say, no, I don't know. The body cameras aren't working, and if they are, police departments don't want to give up the body camera. There's so much going on with the police department that it's actually scary, and we don't need to be scared. And a lot of our men are scared, and if our men are scared, who's going to protect us? I know a lot of women that we're strong or whatever, but the Black family unit makeup is the men, the women, the children. The men are the protectors and the providers. Women are the nurturers and the groomers and the growers. And the children are the obeyers, okay? We obey our parents and honor our mothers and fathers, right? So we as Black people, we got to come up with a plan. And I like to say resistance. Not that we're angry and hateful toward the police, but we have to find a way to resist the police brutality. And we also got to find a way to get the anger out of some of our Black men. And this isn't speaking to anybody. We got to get let's just say the 3 cases we talked about. George Floyd, we got to get our men into a position where they don't need to go in the store and try to rob a store, knowing that the cup food store they went into is just as crooked and illegal as he was in there trying to write that $10 bad check or forge a check or whatever he was doing. He still did not need to die. Okay, let me be very clear. In this young man's case right here, shooting at the police, allegedly committed and attached to other crimes, was finally being pursued and probably apprehended and afraid for his life, and acted out by shooting at police officers. What can we do about our men not out here being attached to murders and child abuse charges that the police don't need to look for you? And please don't take it in no way. And then with the young man who just got pulled over in the car with 2 or 3 other people down in Jacksonville, haven't done anything. And that's usually the story or the history. They said they smelled a little weed. I have on my phone where they're starting to decriminalize weed. I thought it was legal by now. Shit, I heard Colorado, some other places allow it to be legal. They're teenagers. That's what teenagers do. That's another thing cops don't have, because they themselves are young. They don't have that nurturing, parental, supervising spirit about them. So what can we do? 3 different cases going on here. Police brutality, nonetheless. A war against the men in blue and the men in black. And it's something got to be done about it. If you know anything what to do, if you have any suggestions, like I said, once a police do overkill, everybody in every situation should have their gun taken from them and walk the beat. There's no need to shoot at a man 50 times when he only shot 4 times. There's no need to shoot at a young man 35 times when they allegedly said they heard 1 self-inflicting gunshot wound. There's no need to go that far. Sit them down. Suspend them for a year, 2 years without pay. Let them feel it some kind of way. Arrest them. Send them to prison, because police should not be exempt from going to prison. Hell, John the Baptist went to prison, and he was greater than the damn police. Okay, hell, even Paul went to prison. I've been to prison, so why the police can't go to prison? Y'all, let me know what y'all think about this whole entire crazy ass conversation down below, because I get so fed up with hearing stories like this. You know, and I say it's all about abusive entitlement, okay? And I say it's about fear of the police. We have to get our black men in a position where they're not afraid of the police. One black man was down in, was it Tampa? No, Louisiana, walking away from the police, minding his business. He got shot in the back 11 times. It's all on my channel, guys. Brianna Taylor. It's just endless. Aubrey. Well, he was shot by 2 racist white men. That's down with the police. The KKK. Down with the police. DNC. RNC. Vatican. It's all an institution broken down to be at war with black men. And it's a shame that we keep losing life like we do. Guys, let me know what you think down below. God bless you. You're watching ReligionWinked TV, and my spiritual ear stay. God have mercy, Lord. I don't like this, y'all. I hope this was informative, valuable. Damn, how can it be valuable when it's loss of life involved with it, right?